Hello everyone, welcome to English with Teacher Aziz channel. How are you doing? I hope you are fine. Before starting our new lesson, please click on the subscribe button to get informed with new videos. English grammar. Verb to be in the simple present, the affirmative form, the negative form, the interrogative form. Examples. 1. The affirmative form, the long form. I am. You are. We are. They are. He is. She is. It is. The affirmative form, short form or contracted form. Am. Your. Where. There. His. She's. It's. 2. The negative form, the long form. I am not. You are not. We are not. They are not. He is not. She is not. It is not. Short form or contracted form with the negative. I'm not. You aren't. We aren't. They aren't. He isn't. She isn't. It isn't. The interrogative form. Am I? Are you? Are we? Are they? Is he? Is she? Is it? Examples with verb to be. This is my grandfather. My father is a mathematics teacher. Karim isn't sick. Is the lesson clear? No, I'm sorry, it isn't. This is an umbrella. Are you okay? Yes, I am. Are you ready for the exam? Yes, I am. Hello everyone, this is Aziz Talabat English with Teacher Aziz. And we're having a grammar lesson. It's going to be about the simple present tense. In the affirmative, negative, interrogative, short answers, the uses of the simple present. Let's have a look at these examples. Number 1. I listen to music every day. Number 2. Karim sometimes watches television at night. Number 3. My mother cooks delicious food. Number 4. The children play computer games. Let's start with the affirmative form. I play, we play, you play, and they play. He plays, she plays, it plays. As you can see of I, you, we, and they, there is no S, but with he, she, and it, we have an S. Spelling changes with he, she, and it. Rule number 1. For most verbs, we add S to the base form to make she, he, and it. For example, listen becomes listens. Come, comes. Drive, drives. Eat, eats. Drink, drinks. Rule number 2. When the verb ends in double S, CH, SH, X, double Z, and O, we add ES. For example, miss, misses. Watch, watches. Wash, washes. Buzz, buzzes. Fix, fixes. Go, goes. Let's go now to rule number 3. When the verb ends in a consonant plus Y, we change Y to I and we add ES. For example, we have study. The last letter is Y, and before it we have a D, which is a consonant. So, in this situation, Y changes to I, which means we don't keep the Y, we change it into I, then we add ES. So it's studies. Rule number 4. But when the verb ends in a vowel plus Y, we just add S. For example, play. The last letter of play is Y, but before it we have an A. So in this situation, we just add an S in the end of it. Now let's go to the negative form. We say, I do not play, we do not play, you do not play, and they do not play. He does not play, she does not play, and it does not play. But let's have a look at note here. We have do not, this is the long form. Don't is the short form, which means we can say I don't, we don't, you don't, and they don't play. The same thing can be said about does not. The short form of does not is doesn't, which means we can say he doesn't play, she doesn't play, and it doesn't play. Let's go now to the third situation, which is about the interrogative form. In the interrogative form, we start with do plus subject plus the verb, which means do I play, do we play, do you play, and do they play? Does he play, does she play, does it play? Now, let's move to the questions and short answers. Let's have a look at photo number 1. We have here a dialogue. Do they usually play basketball? Yes, they do. This is a positive answer. No, they don't. This is a negative answer. So look at the second photo. Does Mary cook on the weekend? Yes, she does. Positive answer. No, she doesn't. Negative answer. So here we call these one short answers. When do we use the simple present? We use the simple present first for habits. For example, they watch television regularly. Number 2, for repeated actions or events. For example, I play football on Saturdays. Number 3, for general truths. For example, water freezes at 0 degrees. Thank you for your attention. See you in another video with English with Teacher Aziz channel. And don't forget to subscribe and like this video. English grammar lesson. Today we're going to see the present continuous. But let's start with a review of verb to be in the present. Examples of the present continuous. The form of the present continuous. The spelling changes, short answers, the uses of present continuous, and the adverbs of time. Let's start with a review of verb to be in the simple present. In the affirmative form, full form, I am, you are, he is, she is, it is, we are, you are, they are, this is, and that is. Short form, your, his, she's, it's, where, your, and there, and that's. Negative, full form, I am not, you are not, he is not, she is not, it is not, we are not, they are not, this is not, and that is not. In the short form, you aren't, he isn't, she isn't, it isn't, we aren't, they aren't, this isn't, that isn't. Interrogative form, am I, are you, is he, is she, is it, are we, are they, is this, is that. Let's have a look at example number 1. My father is driving his car. 2. My little sister is cooking delicious meals. 3. My friends are listening to music. 4. The baby is swimming. The form of the present continuous. The present continuous is made from the present tense of verb to be plus the base form of the verb plus ing. Let's start with the affirmative form. I am working. We, you, they are working. He, she, it is working. The negative form. I am not working. You, we, and they are not working. He, she, it is not working. Let's have a look at the note here. We have note 1. I'm not. The short form is am not. Are not. The short form is aren't. Note 3. Is not. The short form of it is isn't. The interrogative form. Am I working? Are you, or are we, or are they working? Is he, is she, is it working? The spelling changes in the present continuous. Spelling rule 1. Verbs ending with E, we omit the E and add ing. For example, come, come in, write, write in, drive, drive in. Spelling rule 2. Verbs ending with double E, we just add ing. For example, agree, agreeing, see, seeing. Spelling rule number 3. Verbs ending with a consonant preceded by a vowel, we double the consonant. For example, sit. The last letter is T. Before it, we have I, which is a vowel plus consonant. In this situation, we double the consonant. Then we add the ing. Example 2. Shop, shopping. Cat, cutting. Spelling rule number 4. Verbs ending with ie, we omit ie and replace it with y. Example, lie. The last two letters are I and E, so we omit the I and E and we replace it with Y, then we add ing. Questions and short answers. Let's have a look at this dialogue. Is Emma eating pizza? Yes, she is. This is positive answer. No, she isn't. This is negative answer. Dialogue number 2. Are they watching television? Yes, they are. This is positive answer. No, they aren't. Negative answer. So, when do we use the present continuous? We use the present continuous to talk about 1. Activities at the moment of speaking. For example, please be quiet, the baby is sleeping. 2. Future plans or arrangements. For example, Mary is going to a new school next term. 3. Actions that are temporary. They are staying in London for a few days. The adverbs of time of present continuous. Now, at the moment, at present, just now, right now. For example, now she is studying for the exam. 2. At the moment, they are staying with a friend. 3. She is doing the cleaning right now. 4. At present, she is not working. In this video, we will study the simple past tense. What is the simple past? What do we mean by irregular verbs? The examples, the rule, the affirmative form, the negative form, the interrogative form, the uses, and the adverbs of time with the past simple. Question: what is the simple past? The simple past is a verb tense that is used to talk about things that happened or existed before the present time. Let's read the following text. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was an Austrian musician and composer. He lived in the period between 1756 and 1791. He started composing music at the age of 5. He wrote more than 600 pieces of music. He died when he was only 35 years old. Analysis and discussion. Well, in this text, you should note that lived, started, died are regular past forms. But, was, wrote are irregular past forms. Question. Excuse me, what do you mean by regular verbs? The regular verbs are the verbs that respect the rule of the simple past. Question. What is the rule of the simple past? The usual rule is to add ed or d to the base form of the verb to create the past forms, which means subject plus verb plus ed or sometimes d. Let's have a look at the affirmative form of the verbs in the past. I listened, you listened, she listened, he listened, it listened, we listened, you listened, and they listened. The negative form. I did not listen. You did not listen. She did not listen. He did not listen. It did not listen. We did not listen. You did not listen. They did not listen. The interrogative form. Did I listen? Did you listen? Did she listen? Did he listen? Did it listen? Did we listen? Did you listen? Did they listen? Let's have a look at the note. Concerning the short form of did not is didn't. The spelling changes of the verbs in the simple past. Spelling rule 1. Regular verbs ending in a silent E take D. Examples: close, closed, use, used, leave, lived. Spelling rule 2. Verbs ending in double E, we add D. Example: agree, agreed. Spelling rule 3. Verbs ending with a consonant preceded by a vowel, we double the consonant. Examples: stop, stopped, shop, shopped, chat, chatted. Spelling rule number 4. If the verbs end in a consonant plus y, change the y to an I and add ed. Examples: cry, cried, marry, married, study, studied. For example, the last letter in cry is y and it's preceded, which means before it we have an r, which is a consonant. So we change y to I and we add ed. The same thing can be said about marry. The last letter is y, before it we have an r, which is a consonant. So we change y to I and we add ed. In the last example, study, we have the last letter is Y, and before it we have D, which is a consonant, so we change Y to I and we add ED. Thank you for your attention. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to my channel. English grammar. The past continuous. First, we're going to have a review of verb to be in the past. 2. Examples. 3. The form of the past continuous. 4. The spelling changes. 5. Short answers with past continuous. 6. The uses of the past continuous. And 7. The adverbs of time that we use with the past continuous. So let's start with a review of verb to be in the simple past. Verb to be in the simple past. Affirmative. I was, you were, he was, she was, it was, we were, you were, they were. Negative. I wasn't, you weren't, he wasn't, she wasn't, it wasn't, we weren't, you weren't, they weren't. Interrogative. Was I, were you, was he, was she, was it, were we, were you, were they. So you can check the videos in my channel in which I talked about verb to be in the past tense. Let's have a look at these examples. Number 1. Caroline was skiing when she broke her leg. 2. I was making dinner when she arrived. 3. My friends were talking on the phone. 4. They were waiting for the bus when the accident happened. 5. The form of the past continuous. The past continuous is made from the past tense of verb be plus the base form of the verb plus ing. Let's have a look at the affirmative form. Say, I was reading. We, you, and they were reading. He, she, it was reading. Negative form. I was not working. You, we, they were not working. He, she, and it was not working. Again, let's have a look at note number 1. Was not, this is the long form. The short form is wasn't. Note 2. Were not, this is the long form. The short form of it is weren't. Three. The interrogative form. Was I working? Were you working? Were we working? Were they working? Was he working? Was she working? Was it working? The spelling changes in the past continuous. Spelling rule 1. Verbs ending with E, we omit the E and add ing. Example. Come, come in, write, write in, drive, drive in, Spelling rule 2. Verbs ending with EE, we add ing. Examples: agree, agreeing; see, seeing; spelling rule number 3. Verbs ending with a consonant preceded by a vowel, we double the consonant. For example, sit, sitting; shop, shopping; cat, catting. So the last letter in verb sit is T, which is a consonant, and it's preceded, which means before it we have an I, which is a vowel. So we double the T, then we add ing. The same thing concerning number 2. We have shop. The last letter is P, and before it we have an O, which is a vowel. So we double the P and we add ing. The last one, cat. The last letter is T, which is a consonant. Before it we have U, which is a vowel. So we double the T and we add ing. Spelling rule number 4. Verbs ending with IE, we omit IE and replace it with Y. Example: here we have verb lie. The last two letters are IE. So here this IE changes to Y. Then we add the ing. Questions and short answers with the past continuous. Dialogue number 1. Were they doing their exercises? Yes, they were. This is positive answer. No, they weren't. Negative answer. Dialogue number 2. Was she writing a letter? Yes, she was. Positive answer. No, she wasn't. Negative answer. When do we use the past continuous? We use the past continuous to talk about something which happened before and after another action. For example, the children were doing their homework when I got home. Two, for something that happened before and after a specific time. Example: it was 8 o'clock. I was writing a letter. Three, a temporary activity in the past interrupted by a short action in which we use the past simple. For example, I was doing my exercises when my father came in. Here we have two verbs. We have was doing and we have came. In the first one, was doing, we use the past continuous, and came, we have the simple past. Because in the first action, which is I was doing my exercises, it's interrupted by another action, which is came, my father came home, which means the action which takes long time takes the past continuous, and the action that breaks it takes the simple past because it is a short action. What are the adverbs of time of past continuous? Adverbs of time that we use in the past continuous are all of time in the past tense, at 4 o'clock, when, all day yesterday, while, as. When follows simple past tense, and while follows past continuous tense. Thank you for your attention. In this lesson, we will study the simple future tense, the form, the uses, simple future with short form, the short answers with simple future. What is the simple future? The simple future is a verb tense that's used to talk about things that haven't happened yet. When do we use the simple future? One, to talk about promises. For example, welcome to our company, Mrs. Anderson. I promise I will work hard, Mr. Smith. 2. To predict a future event. It will rain tomorrow. 3. Decision taken at the time of speaking. Don't worry, I will help you with your homework. 4. Threats and warnings. Stop doing that or I will call the police. 5. Assumptions based on what we think. I think I will pass my exams this year. Number 6. Spontaneous decisions. I will help you cross the street. So, what's the form of simple future? The simple future tense is composed of two parts, will plus the infinitive without to. Let's have a look at the affirmative form. I will play. You will play. He will play. She will play. It will play. We will play. You will play. They will play. The negative form. I will not play. You will not play. He will not play. She will not play. It will not play. We will not play. You will not play. They will not play. The interrogative form. Will I play? Will you play? Will he play? Will she play? Will it play? Will we play? Will you play? Will they play? The simple future contractions the short form. The affirmative form. I will, I'll. We will, will. You will, you'll. He will, he'll. She will, she'll. They will, they'll. The negative form. I will not play. I won't play. You will not play. You won't play. He will not play. He won't play. She will not play. She won't play. It will not play. It won't play. We will not play. We won't play. You will not play. You won't play. They will not play. They won't play. Simple future with short answers. So look at this dialogue. Will you work hard? Yes, I will. This is positive. Will you come late again? No, I won't. I'm sorry. This is negative answer. Well, this is the end of the lesson. Thank you for your attention. See you with another video. In this video, we will study the past perfect simple tense. The examples, the rule, the affirmative form, the negative form, the interrogative form, the uses, the adverbs of time. First, let's read these examples. Example 1. Before Jamal crossed the street, he had looked both sides. Two. The girl had washed her hands before she ate the watermelon. Three. When he arrived to the station, the train had already left. Four. If you had followed my advice, you wouldn't have had a stomachache. Next example. After she had seen her good results, she jumped with joy. Analysis and discussion. Example 1. In this example, Jamal wanted to cross the street, so he made two actions. The first one is to look on both sides of the street, on the left and on the right. The second action is to cross the street. So, we have two actions in the past, but one comes before another. The first one is conjugated into past perfect, had looked. The second one is conjugated into the simple past, crossed. Example 2. In this example, there are two actions. The first one is to wash hands. The second one is to eat the watermelon. Both actions are in the past, but one comes before another. So, the first action takes the past perfect simple, had washed. The action that comes after it takes the simple past, she ate the watermelon. Example 3. In this example, this man arrived late to the station, but the train had left. So, there are two actions. The logical order is that the train went first. After that, the man arrived. So, the first action is conjugated to the past perfect simple. The train had left. The action that came after it is conjugated to the simple past, arrived. Example 4. In this example, the doctor checked the girl and found out that she didn't follow her advice. Logically, the first action is that the girl didn't follow the doctor's advice. The second action is that the girl had a stomachache. So, the first action takes the past perfect simple. It's considered as a piece of advice. Example 5. In this example, the girl didn't know her result. After she had seen it, she jumped with joy. The first action is she had seen the result. The second action is she jumped with joy. So the first action takes the past perfect simple. The second verb is conjugated to the simple past. So, what's the rule of past perfect simple? The past perfect tense in English is composed of two parts: the past tense of the verb to have, had, plus the past participle of the main verb. Let's have a look at the affirmative form of the past perfect simple. And I start with the irregular verbs which finish with ed. You can say I had played, you had played, she had played, he had played, it had played, we had played, you had played, and they had played. In the case of irregular verbs, we have here the example of speak. We can say I had spoken, you had spoken, he, she, it, we, and they had spoken. Let's move now to the negative form. You can say I had not played, or I had not spoken, you had not played, or you hadn't spoken. She had not played, or she had not spoken. He had not played, he had not spoken. It had not played, it had not spoken. We had not played, we had not spoken. You had not played, you had not spoken. And they had not played, they had not spoken. The interrogative form. Had I played, or had I spoken? Had you played, or had you spoken? Had she played, had she spoken? Had he played, had he spoken? Had it played, had it spoken? Had we played, had we spoken? Had you played, had you spoken? Or had they played, had they spoken? Note: short form, I had or I'd, in the case of the affirmative form. In the negative form, the short form of I had not is I hadn't. The uses of the past perfect simple. The past perfect simple is used to describe one action that happened before another action in the past. In many cases, a complete sentence is written in two parts with two different tenses. The past perfect simple to refer to the action that happened first or earlier. The past simple to refer to the action that happened second or later. The past perfect is used to show regret. For example, if I had waken up early, I wouldn't have missed the bus. To talk about unreal or imaginary things in the past. For example, if I had known you were sick, I would have called you. The adverbs of time. When. Example: when Linda arrived, her husband had left. So the first verb that comes after when is conjugating to the simple past. The second verb is used with past perfect simple. Before. My mother had prepared dinner before my father arrived. Again here, before is followed by simple past as the first verb. The second verb is followed by past perfect simple. By the time. By the time Mary finished her study, she had been in London for over 10 years. The first verb that comes after by the time is conjugated into simple past, and the second one is conjugated into past perfect simple. After. After I had done my exercises, I watched TV. After, the first verb that comes after it is conjugated into past perfect simple, and the second one is conjugated into simple past. Already. Mary had already finished her homework when her brother came. So the first verb that comes after already is conjugated into past perfect simple, and then the second verb is conjugated into simple past. Thank you for your attention. English grammar. The future perfect simple. Examples: the rule, the form, the spelling changes, the uses of the future perfect simple, and the adverbs of time of the future perfect simple. Let's study these examples. One, I will have finished my work by the weekend. Two, she will have cooked dinner by 9 o'clock. Three, you'll have studied the English tenses by the end of the weekend. Four, he will not have arrived by night. The form of the future perfect simple. The future perfect simple is made from subject plus will have plus past participle. And in the past participle, we have two types of verbs. The first one are called regular verbs, and the second ones are called irregular verbs. Concerning regular verbs are verbs that finish with ed, and irregular verbs are exceptions and are in the third column of irregular verbs. The affirmative form. I, you, we, and they will have played. He, she, and it will have played. So as you can see, we don't change anything here. And this is concerning regular and concerning irregular verbs. For example, here we have speak. The past participle of it is spoken, which means we can say I, you, we, and they will have spoken. And he, she, and it will have spoken. 2. The negative form. I, we, you, and they will not have played. He, she, and it will not have played. And the same thing can be said about irregular verbs. We can say I, you, we, and they will not have spoken. He, she, and it will not have spoken. The interrogative form. Will I, will we, will you, or will they have played? Will he, will she, will it have played? Or, in the case of irregular verbs, we can say, will I, will you, and will they have spoken? Will he, will she, or will it have spoken? The spelling changes in the past participle of regular verbs. Spelling rule 1. Regular verbs ending in a silent E take D. For example, close, closed, use, used, leave, leaved. Spelling rule number 2. Verbs ending with double E, we add D. For example, agree, agreed. Spelling rule 3. Verbs ending with a consonant preceded by a vowel, we double the consonant. For example, stop, stopped, shop, shopped, chat, chatted. So in the first example, stop, the last letter is P, which is a consonant, and it's preceded by a vowel, which means before it we have a vowel O, so we double the P and we add ED. In the second example, the last letter is P and before it we have an O, so we double the P and we add ED. The same thing can be said about chat. The last letter is T and before it we have an A, so we double the T and we add ED. Spelling rule 4. If the verb ends with a consonant plus Y, change the Y to an I and add ED. For example, cry, cried, marry, married, study, studied. In the first example, cry, the last letter is Y, and before it we have an R, which is a consonant. So we change Y to I and we add ED. In the second example, again, the last letter is Y, and before it we have an R, which is a consonant. So we change Y to I and we add ED. In the last example, the last letter is Y, and before it we have a D, which is a consonant. So we change Y to I, then we add ED. Spelling rule number 5. If the verb ends with a vowel plus Y, we just add ED. For example, play, played, sway, swayed, pray, prayed. So in the first example, the last letter is Y. The same thing can be said about example number 2 and example number 3. And before them we have an A, which is a vowel. So when we change that into the past simple, or into the past participle, we just add ed. When do we use the future perfect simple? 1. To talk about an action that will finish before a certain time in the future. For example, by 7 o'clock tomorrow, I will have finished my exercises. 2. To talk about an action that will be completed before another event takes place. For example, she will have learned English before she moves to London. 3. To express conviction that something happened in the near past. For example, the kids will have been at home by now. What are the adverbs of time of future perfect simple? By the weekend, by next week, by the end of the year, by now, by 7 o'clock, by the time. Thank you for your attention. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to my channel. You can share my videos too. See you with another video.